Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, The Stone Mandalorian. I am the Stone Motherfucking Mando, or you can call me Cody or Stone, whichever you prefer. And today we're going to be taking a look at some McFarlane figures that came out in 2021 and 2022. We got Aang, Zuko, and Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is a show that came out in 2008 on February 21st, sometime in February, I believe. This is a show that I grew up watching with my brother and my cousin Brandon, Lord Sosa, and in my in the chat when we do live streams, Stone and Hyper Show and such. But man, I grew up watching this show. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. It's got a lot of lessons. It's got a lot of like nature and philosophy in it. It's got politics and it's really awesome show. The animation is beautiful and it's kind of cool because Dave Filoni worked on the production crew and the part of the animation, not production, but part of animation in the animation department of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then obviously went on to help George Lucas produce the Clone Wars, the 3D animated series, Clone Wars '08. That, but man, these are awesome looking figures. There's a lot of texture and amazing sculpting. These are some of my favorite Avatar: The Last Airbender figures I've seen. I've seen a couple others out there like uh, Loyal Subjects. Another line that's coming out. They have couple figures, and I'm trying to think of not Diamond Select. I can't. There's a couple other brands that carry the licensing to do Avatar: Last Airbender figures, but McFarlane had it for a little while. Didn't make too much money off of it, I reckon, because they didn't do much past the first wave. They did that first wave and then they were done. So I still need to add Toph, Uncle Iroh, and Katara into the mix, and then that would be pretty sweet. But I'm gonna go back through each one of these figures and take my time. I'm gonna go through the accessories and then the figures articulation, just the closer details of the sculpt and paint. So now, as you can see in this shot, these figures come with a ton of accessories, with the exception of Aang. But Sokka and Zuko come with quite a bit of accessories. They all each come with this Avatar: The Last Airbender display stand, which pretty much every McFarlane figure comes with a display stand. So that's pretty much a given. But Aang comes with this. I'm not going to take it out of his hands because it was kind of a pain to get it back into his hands. And this, I will say, for his glider, his staff here, it's a very cheap kind of plastic. I got to be honest with you. Like the sides of the we're kind of like scraping off trying to get it into his hand. But other than that, it's not bad. I'm gonna have to take it out for articulation anyway. So well, you can see there's not much to it. It's really just a standard brown. Really not much. There's two little dots on this side and a dot on this side, so you can tell this is the top where he would glide with it. And he goes with this little air ball, in the one episode or a couple episodes throughout the seasons, where he kind of like whips up the little air ball and he kind of like rides it like a scooter, an air scooter. So that's pretty cool. You see the peg where you can put his foot in and it just sits flush just like that. But now getting on to Aang here, let's go ahead and look at the articulation here. So just starting off, this is like kind of like a soft plastic, so it doesn't really, it kind of pushes down the shoulders, but you can get him up to right about to his sides. But it just wants to, this plastic just kind of inhibits it, to be honest with you. I didn't think it did, but see how I want to put it up? It can go up higher, but the plastic just kind of pushes it down. We do have pinned double joints, so you can get that forearm to touch that bicep no problem. Arms do spin 360 degrees as well. There's also a cut right here for bicep swivel, so that's pretty nice. Head articulation, there's a lot of side to side tilt out of Aang here. You can look up a pretty fair amount and look down. Kind of look down. He can look more up though than he can look down. 360-degree pivot or swivel, I should say. There's also like a diaphragm cut here at the chest. So there's a little bit of swivel at the side. Not a whole lot of ab crunch, but it's there. Mostly just a swivel. There's also a swivel at the waist, I believe. Not a whole lot, but there is a little bit of movement. The legs, the hips are definitely weird. Definitely some weird articulation in here, but you can see, oh, that knocked it off. You can see here he can get a full split, no problem. You want Aang to be dynamic. He is an airbender, so he should be very acrobatic and dynamic. He can kick out straight in front of him. The way of the sculpt, this piece kind of like rides right up under this soft rubber here. That's the good thing about this being that this kind of like overlay over the figure. So we can kick out that far. It's got a little bit of kickback, not a whole lot. And as you can see, we got pinned double jointed knees as well. So you can get that calf to touch that hamstring. I was trying to see, there's Swivel at the knee, so a little bit of swivel, not a whole lot, but that's nice. There's a little bit of swivel at the thigh, not a whole lot. Not really a swivel, it's just kind of like the gap in the joint where you can just get a little bit of play with it. And the feet go down pretty far, and they come up a little bit. There's also toe articulation, so that's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of like the older Toy Biz figures, Spider-Man specifically. There's also a horizontal hinge here on the left hand, and a horizontal hinge here on the left hand. I'm sorry, on the right hand and the left hand as well. So now just getting a close-up look at Aang here. I like the color of blue. This looks very accurate to the show, like a baby blue. Got some nice. The eyes look really nice on here. The teeth are a little weird with the lines in there, but it really doesn't look that bad. Good animated likeness. There's some like nice texture in here. Some like dark orange and a light orange to kind of highlight some dry brushing. Sculpt of the clothes is also very nice. That's what I'm saying, man. There's a lot of sculpting on this figure, man. There's a lot of texture too. You can just look at all the texture there in the pants. And the hands are very nicely painted. I love that color blue they use for his tattoos. That's awesome. The ribbons going around looks really nice. Yeah, really awesome looking figure, man. So I'm just going to put this to the side. There is Aang. Let's go ahead and look at Zuko. Zuko's got a bunch of accessories, man. So I forget what this is called, but it's almost like, it looks like a Booma from Star Wars, like what the Gungans use in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace of Star Wars, or in the Clone Wars as well. Some nice blue paint on here. Nice silver color too with the brown paint. I need to get me a pair of tweezers. I promise my nails are clean, y'all. It's just this light that makes them look yellow. So that looks nice. Pretty sweet. He's also got his trusty boomerang. Some nice, kind of like, not chromy, but it's got like a shine to it. Nice silver on there. He's got a holster or a sheath for his boomerang, so that's pretty sweet. Got some nice like little etched stitching in there. You can see where it slides in. This goes over his shoulder. Nice texture on here. It's like a soft rubber, soft plastic. And then here's like the more like blade axe. This looks pretty wicked. This is like a weapon out of Skyrim or something, like an orc axe or something. But again, got some nice brown paint. The silver paint looks good as well. Pretty wicked, man. And getting onto Sokka. Cactus juice. It's the quenchiest. So let's push him back a little bit. Get this. Sokka's a little bit taller, so I might need to come back just a tad. Get this in focus real quick. Bear with me a moment, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. So head articulation, he get a lot of side-to-side motion. So you can get some nice expression out of Sokka here. He's a very expressive character. He's very funny and sarcastic. He can look up, but that ball joint just kind of wants to pull it back down. But he can look up, and he can look down a tiny bit, not a whole lot. Full T position, that's good. Single hinge ball joint at the shoulder, 360-degree motion. Pin to double jointed elbow, so just like Aang, get that forearm to touch that bicep. Looks like we have two, I would assume, same as Aang. Yep, two horizontal hinges here on the left hand and the right hand. Is there any biceps? Nope, so no bicep swivel on this or on the sleeve, so you're just going to have to pivot it from his shoulder in here. And there's no butterfly joint, but the way that it looks, you can see that ball socket on the inside of there. Let me get a little bit closer so I can show y'all. You can kind of see that ball in there. So it's technically not a butterfly joint, but it can kind of act as a butterfly joint, so you can get all that nice range. Your shoulder is one of the most versatile, universal joints you have on your body. Ball and socket joint, Again, this is a soft plastic, no thigh cut, but he can get a decent split. You can get him right to right there, but then he kind of just wants to pull back in. Not that Sokka's going to be doing splits or anything. Kind of running into his boot a little bit there. So you can get pin double jointed knees, but before you start buttoning into the sculpt, you can get right at to about 90 before the back of his boot starts to hit the back of his hamstring here. That's all you need for Sokka. You don't need him doing anything like too crazy. And then feet go down about that far. come up a little bit, and there's toe articulation on here as well. What are they? Are these Toy Biz figures? I'm getting more used to McFarlane as I buy them for sure. But then just getting a closer look at Sokka's sculpting and paint here. His eyes are also very nicely done. I like the they kind of capture the animated likeness pretty good. He's got his ponytail here, nice blue there on the hair tie. The hair itself is sculpted very nice. I actually used to have my haircut just like this. I had long blonde hair. It was when I was back in high school when I was in a metal band. My hair was long enough. It was like down to my ass. It was so long. This looks awesome. Sculpting again, just nice folds on the clothing here. Really nice. You can see his cool gloves, his fingerless gloves. Again, this is a soft plastic, so you can get this out the way. I like the texture on the boots. When I show y'all Zuko, this is like all this kind of texture is all over Zuko, but the boots look really nice here. The toe articulation is just a really cool. That's awesome, man. But yeah, Sokka is awesome, dude. Looks really nice. So there is Sokka. Let's move on to Zuko here. I love this pose a lot, man. This thing looks sick. He looks awesome, dude. Zuko's one of my favorite characters. Redemption, man. Honor and family. Kind of basically the same lessons and the same lessons we get from Star Wars. But just starting off here, even with his armor here that he's got on, it's like a soft plastic. You can kind of see that's got some give to it. He can get his arms way up, no problem. That's pretty nice. That's pretty sweet. Even with that armor on, he can do that. Again, a lot of head tilt out of these McFarlane figures. So we can get some expression out of Zuko here. He can look up a little bit. His ponytail just wants to run into the back of his armor here, but he can't really look down. Not as much. There's some side to side tilt, but not as much up and down. So we do have pin double joints on this elbow as well, on these elbows as well. So you can get that form to touch that bicep, no problem. You can get 360 degrees. It's going to be a little hairy just with the armor or whatever. You can see this single hinge ball joint we have in the shoulder. This figure has bicep swivel, so that's pretty badass. Got a horizontal hinge here on the right hand. Horizontal hinge here on the left hand. I should have said, did I say right hand, left hand? Y'all get what I'm saying. And now, even with this, like, it's like side skirts here, you can still get pretty good splits, but it wants to pull in. He won't stay like that, but they can go. So that's pretty cool. Pin double joints kind of like rides up under the sculpt here. There's a little bit of thigh motion, not a whole lot. There's a little bit of swivel here. You can see right up in there. Actually, probably the most thigh swivel out of all these figures, to be honest with you, out of Sokka and Aang. So that's pretty sweet. Getting to the knee, he can touch his, pretty much get way below 45 degrees there, almost touching his calf to his hamstring. Ooh, I put a little bit of stress on the back of the. You see that? Just from put a little stress on the plastic right there. I did kind of push it kind of hard, but feet go down about not really a whole lot. Just you can see where it kind of rides into the sculpt right there. So that's going to limit you a little bit. Can't really go up a lot whole far, and he does have toe articulation as well. So, but then just looking at Zuko's design here and all the paint and sculpting he's got, because he is covered with paint and sculpt, man. So they do have his where he was burned by his father Ozai, Fire Lord Ozai. Again, very nice paint. I like the yellow eyes. They captured the animated likeness very well. It translated well. He's got his Japanese style ponytail, really badass. Clean red paint. And look at that. Y'all, I was telling y'all about the sculpting earlier on Sokka's boots. Look at all the sculpting on Zuko's armor, man. Like, look at all the stitching and, like, just all the, like, little indentions and everything. And honestly, on camera, this is looking more like brownish, but this is actually more of like a dark red, and this is like a bright red. Almost on camera, it almost like seems like it almost has like a brownish look to it, but it's much more of a burgundy red. Just look at all the texture on here, man. Look at his pants. Look at all that texture on there. That's just insane, man. Look at all the ornate design going down the trim of his skirt here. or his kama, whatever you like. And then like this leathery look on his gauntlets, very nice, man. You can see that texture going up on his sleeves right here too. Man, lots of nice sculpting on this figure, man. Badass looking figure. Nice hit of gold right here on the belt. Oh, and then I almost went over his accessories. He also comes with these two alternate hands, also horizontal hinges, and he comes with these so he can hold these. They're like fire daggers that he fights with. And in like one or two episodes, he can kind of like form his own blade out of when he's fire. He can firebend his own blade. It's kind of badass. So that's pretty cool. And then he's also got like this like fucking fire cannon that he can shoot. You know, I haven't tried to put this on yet, but pretty cool that he comes with it. It's got like a nice like gradient from orange to yellow, like a transparency. You know, so that's pretty cool. And I find the easiest way to get Zuko's boomerang on is just throw his arm up here, and just slide it on this way, and then boom, he's wearing it just like he does in the show, and it looks pretty good on him too. This might need to like put a little thing of like sticky tack or something in there, but still pretty cool that it can sit on him and look up, like sit on his shoulder pretty naturally. Here are the front of the boxes and the back of the boxes as well. Here are the barcodes on the bottom of the box for people that care. If you have nostalgia for Avatar: The Last Airbender growing up watching it like me, or you're just a fan of the show and you want representation on your shelf for the show and your love of it, I highly recommend picking up these McFarlane figures, man. I know there's some other companies out there that have a couple decent interpretations of these characters, but I feel like honestly McFarlane has done it best. I'm not a big fan of the McFarlane Katara, though, at least the one that I've seen. I don't know if it's the 7-inch version or that other scale version that they have. I know there's some weird McFarlane Avatar. I think it might be even be 6-inch if I'm not mistaken. But it might even I can't. It might be 3 3/4. I'm not sure. I'm not super knowledgeable about McFarlane. I just started kind of dipping my toes into McFarlane the last year or so. But that being said, these figures, in my opinion, really do have an honorable representation for the characters, and they did a really great job, kind of transforming like taking over that animated likeness and putting it to a figure. I just feel like they did a really fantastic job with all three of these characters. Uncle Iroh, I'm also super excited to get, but either way, like I said, totally recommend these figures if you're a fan of the show. They're going to look great on the shelf. Can't wait to start getting the other three, Toph, Katara, and Uncle Iroh as well. But if you all enjoyed this review, consider leaving me a like and subscribe. I do a lot of mainly Star Wars: The Black Series, if you couldn't tell by the channel name. But also, as you can see, I do other lines as well: McFarlane, NECA, Hammond Collection, Mattel, whatever I find interesting and that I'm passionate about or have nostalgia for, and I want to share my thoughts and opinion on with y'all. But I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, leave me a like and subscribe. Like I said, hope you have a great day tonight whenever you're watching this. Y'all take care. Thank you for watching.